So let's take a pretty average photo into something a bit more abstract fine art. I'm going to show you how. Greetings all. Now today's little adventure is not out and about adventure, it's more of a at home one. Now for those of you who follow me quite a lot, you'll notice that over the past few weeks when I've been out doing sunrises, there are particular reasons why I've actually focused on doing sunrises, because there are certain images that I wanted to take, which is for today's video. A lot of photographers tend to use Lightroom and Photoshop to enhance their images, not change, not manipulate them or anything, just to enhance your tones and colours and this sort of thing, just to, you know, make the photo more how it was when you were visualizing it when you took the shot. Because what you see and what your camera see are two different things. So we tend to use Lightroom or Photoshop. Pretty sure you could probably actually do this in GIMP as well, but this one is just basically going to be a Photoshop tutorial. Right, so when you actually open up your raw file, you can actually get into this camera raw, which we need to actually get it now into Lightroom itself. So if you open a copy, it will go then straight into the Photoshop itself. Right, now first thing we're going to need to do on this is duplicate the layer, just like so, and then I'm going to do, because there are two subjects on this one and I only actually want the one, so I'm going to remove this one on the left hand side. So with the patch tool, just a little quick circle around. Oh no, hold on a moment, I need to select the background layer, and then just move that out of the way. That's looking okay, and that's now gone. So what I'm going to do on here actually is have a look to see if there's any adjustments that you want to do first, and then do those adjustments. But I wouldn't worry too much about them. But it's just in case you want to remove certain things, like they say, I don't know, there's a bird flying in the corner you want to get rid of, or anything like this. Do those adjustments before you start. And what I'm going to do is, as I go through this with you, is I'm not going to use keyboard shortcuts. I'm actually going to use the menus. And the reason being is because it's okay saying about shortcuts, but people don't remember shortcuts as well. But if you've got a visual video, which is obviously what this one is, you can see me obviously cursor moving about, and you can see what I'm pressing, see what I'm clicking, and then it's just going to be a little bit easier. The next thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to zoom in slightly onto the subject that we're going to work on. We're going to select the lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool should we say, and we're going to roughly go around the outline of the subject that you want to actually use, which is a bit like that. I am actually just doing this quickly, so which I mean to be fair, this lasso tool is pretty good at going around and finish it off like that. Now that's going to be our image that is going to be the subject, which is the thing that we're not going to manipulate or alter or anything in any way, shape or form. I might put a little tiny bit of feathering on this. Now, depending on how big your subject is, will depending on the feathering that you want to do. But if you do too much, it's just going to be a blur, which I know that this whole thing is a blur, but your subject you don't want as a blur. But, so we're going to go select, modify, feather. And we're just going to do that just literally 1 pixel. That's all it's going to be. That just helps it to blend back into the background. And we're going to then go copy, layer, new layer, and then we're going to paste that onto that layer. Okay, so as you turn the background off, it's there, as you can see. Now what we're going to need to do is basically get rid of that, because we don't need it there, and more will become apparent as we go along. So we're going to use the patch tool again, straight onto patch tool, quick outline. No, wrong one. I need to select the background layer, and we just move it out of the way. It disappeared. Okay, gone. We can put it back again if we need to. Now the reason that we're doing this is because the work that we do now is on that, not on, it's on the whole, it's literally what we're seeing there without the subject is what we're going to be blurring and having a bit of fun with, basically. And the way we're going to do that is filter, blur gallery, and we're going to use path blur. Now basically what the path blur is we can choose where the blur is going to go, and we could also curve the blur. And the first one that we're going to do is it's actually, I think, right across the horizon is the first blur that you're going to do. Yeah, if you've got a horizon, first one that you're going to do. And then look for anything that has got a line and where the line's going. So we've got the rocks along down the bottom here, so I'm going to do from there. There's a slight curve in it, so let's put a bit of a curve. There's some waves that are here, which are quite dominant really, so let's do a couple there. Down this bottom we have got one there, and I think what we'll do is we're going to put one more long one right the way through. So that is the direction of where the blur is going to go. But at the moment it doesn't look very much, and the reason being is because, well, it's only at 50%, so we're actually going to crank that right up to basically how it is there, and that looks pretty much how I'm going to want it to be. So we hit OK. It's now going to do its stuff, which will take its while. It's good because it's time for a cup of tea. And so there it is. That is blurred. And if you put the subject back in, you can now see why we actually copied the subject, got rid of it from the original, blurred it, and then put it back. And I mean, that on its own looks so much different than what the actual original one did. So we've gone from that to that, and it does look so much difference. But we ain't quite finished yet, because obviously we're going to tweak a few things, bring out colours, and because obviously you've altered so much of it now, you can literally change colours and really go to town on it if you actually wanted to. So I think what we're going to do now is, if we go into camera raw filter, that's the one. This will now come into the original one that when we first loaded it up, it went into this one. So, and if anybody just actually knows Lightroom, this is pretty much what Lightroom is. So on this alone now, this is not going to alter the subject that we'd actually cut out. This is only now actually going to alter the bit that we'd actually blurred. So we can actually alter this as to however we wanted. We could change the colours, and yeah, you can basically just have a bit of fun. So what I am going to do is I am going to drop the exposure down a bit. Let's whack up the contrast. Yeah, something like that. Highlights. Actually, we'll drop the highlights right down, because I do actually like that colour actually that's in the sky there. Really nice. The clarity, you can do the same. Let's, you know, just play around with the sliders and see what it is. I actually do like bringing that down because that looks really interesting. Really interesting. And let's give a few. Yeah. Oh, that looks absolutely horrible. Let's not go too much. We could change the temperature actually, a bit more. And the tint, maybe. Yeah, that looks alright actually. I do quite like that. I'm actually just quite liking that like that, to be honest with you. I mean, because you can add filters and things like this into it if you really wanted to, but you know, I'm quite pleased with the way that it is. I'm actually quite pleased with that. We're going to leave that as that. And that's not quite finished, because one more little thing that we're going to do is I am going to duplicate this layer, which is a direct copy of the subject itself. Now, on the first layer, if you looked very, very closely, it's a bit too sharp. So let's just drop that opacity down just a tad to try to help to blend it in a little bit. Oh, would have took that one off, wouldn't it? Just a little bit. That's looking okay. And then the first layer, let's flip it, and then I want to move it down so it's pretty much like a reflection in the water. That's looking a bit silly. So we're then going to drop the opacity right down. I do like that, but I'm probably going to need to go down a little bit more. And I'm saying that is probably much about right. So when you actually look at that, you've pretty much gone from that of an image that's of nothing really of interest into something a little bit more, I don't know, I'd say that would look pretty nice on a picture on the wall. So there we go, guys. I'm really intrigued to know what you actually think of this, and is it a style that you like? Is it something you think you might have a go at? And I'm going to be honest, it's something I probably will do again, but it's not something that I'm going to do often. And the reason being is because the photographs I like to take are the photographs that are what you see as opposed to what you create in a, you know, manipulate digitally. And it's not to say that it's rubbish or anything like that, because I've seen this done and I've seen some absolute stunning results, which is why I thought, you know, I would like to give it a go. And I'm glad I did, because it's something else learned, more knowledge gained, and it's got me using features of Photoshop that I've not used before. So all in all, it was a good project for me to do. I mean, I'm not disappointed, but I don't know, let me know what you think. But that's it for this week, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.